I've been a fan of Dragon Ball for 8 years now, and I still enjoy the series to this day. That being said, while I do love the series, I have no problem admitting that it clearly isn't perfect and has its flaws. I'd say everything up to the Cell Saga is great in terms of writing, and there really isn't much wrong with it. However, once the Cell Saga starts, you can tell that the writing gets a bit iffy. First off, it's hard to believe that with the technology on Earth, there could be androids created that are leagues stronger than Frieza. Then there's the villains themselves, which change numerous times in the saga. First, Zero and 19 are the main villains, then it goes to 16, 17, and 18, and then it goes to Cell. I understand the reason for this was because Toriyama was told to change the villains multiple times during the saga, but still, that doesn't ignore the fact that in terms of writing, it is a bit messy. There's also the final fight between Gohan and Cell, which, while amazing in terms of its message of passing down the torch onto Gohan, isn't that great in terms of a fight. It's mainly just Cell beating the shit out of Gohan then beating the shit out of Cell, and then both of them firing everything they have at each other at once. That being said, I still do love this fight despite some of its shortcomings as well as the rest of the saga in general. None of the problems I mentioned ruin the saga or even that big of an issue, and I still believe that the Cell Saga is easily the second best saga in the franchise. However, after that is the Buu Saga, which has numerous issues. I already made a 30-minute review of it last year, so if you're interested, you can watch it using the link in the description, but still I'll quickly go over what's wrong with it. First off, Gohan got thrown to the sidelines and was barely in the saga after the tournament despite him being the new main character of the series. The saga introduced a good amount of new characters and a lot of them aren't so great. Babidi was obnoxious and should have been killed off much earlier, Goten and Trunks get annoying, and Majin Buu, while a great character, isn't a great antagonist. Super Buu eventually turned into a knockoff Cell, and Kid Buu, while a good antagonist, was nothing but a plot device. There's also pacing issues that were even in the manga. There's some writing issues such as Gotenks being able to go Super Saiyan 3 because why not? But I'll be here all day if I continue. That being said, while the Buu Saga is notably worse than the previous two sagas, there's still enough to enjoy in it, and I still like it despite some of its glaring flaws. Afterwards came GT, which was fucking dog shit, terrible from start to finish, 2 out of 10. Years later came the new films as well as Super, and while the writing isn't anything noteworthy, it isn't by any means bad either. Super introduced new and likable characters, had some decent and one extremely fun arc, and was overall a nice ride. I clearly have my issues with Super, but again, there's enough to enjoy in the series, and I still liked it. Now that finally brings me to the latest installment in the franchise, Dragon Ball Super Superhero. And if you couldn't tell by the title of the video, I really wasn't a fan of it. Before I get shit on in the comments, let me just say that I don't hate this film. Hell, I don't even think it's that bad. It's a big mixed bag of a film. There are aspects and things in it that I really enjoyed, but there are also things that I really did not like. My first problem with the film is its animation. Ever since the first trailer came out last year showcasing that the entire film would be in CG, I was not impressed at all. It didn't look terrible, but it definitely wasn't impressive, especially considering how amazing Super Broly looked just a few years before this. As more trailers came out, I still wasn't a fan of the CG, and it didn't seem to be improving either. When I finally sat down and watched it in theaters, I still didn't think much of it. It was distracting at first, but over time I got used to it. But that's the thing, I only got used to it. The style didn't grow on me or anything, I just managed to tolerate it for the rest of the film. Again, I wouldn't say the CG is overall bad, but I also wouldn't say it's even decent or anything. There are moments where the CG jumps in quality, but there are also moments where it drops and looks bad. Character motion seems somewhat stiff and robotic, and you can tell that something just doesn't seem right. It also doesn't help that the models are super simple and lack any sort of texture. Because of this, they all look like they were ripped straight out of a video game, and not in a good way. Now you might be asking, well, would you enjoy the film if the style was more detailed and more realistic, such as something like Jump Force? And to answer that, no, I wouldn't, because Jump Force looks like shit. I don't want Dragon Ball to look hyper realistic, and I know this simpler style is much more fitting for the series. My main problem is that I believe Dragon Balls, as well as many other anime and manga designs and styles, don't translate well into 3D. Dragon Ball was originally a manga series that was initially designed to be drawn and read in manga, which is a form of 2D art. If you take the designs that were originally made for a 2D form of media and recreate them in a new one, they are going to look notably different.
What the fuck is that?
These designs weren't meant for CG, and I think they lose a lot of the appeal they have when translated into 3D. The same can be said for 3D characters being recreated in 2D. Here's a couple images of Pixar characters originally designed for 3D animation being recreated in 2D. Again, I don't think these characters look inherently bad in the style, but they're clearly worse and less appealing than they are compared to how they originally look in 3D. Even if superhero CG isn't particularly bad, it's still very underwhelming, and I just wish the film was in full 2D. The thing is, the film does include 2D moments, although very rarely. The entire first 2 minutes is made up of only traditional 2D animation, and it looks great. Throughout the film, they do occasionally show 2D hand-drawn still shots, although they only last for a few seconds. Now, while I do love seeing at least some 2D animation in the film, it also ends up being extremely frustrating. The film is showing us what superhero could have looked like if it was in 2D, but no, instead the film just teases us and switches to mediocre CGI. As mentioned though, the CG isn't always unimpressive throughout the entire film. During some of the fights, especially the final one, the CG doesn't look half bad. The special effects do look pretty good, and some of the action isn't half bad either, although again, it's only sometimes. A fair amount of the fights, while not bad, never seem to impress me. My main issue with them is that a lot of the punches, kicks, and some other attacks seem to lack any sort of impact. This is a significant problem for a Dragon Ball film since it includes a numerous amount of fights. In Super Broly, every punch, every kick, every type of attack had weight to it. When a blow landed on someone, you felt it. But here, most of the time, the attacks lack that same sense of weight and feel that they did in the previous films. One positive thing I will say about the animation though is the camera work. Since the movie is CG, animators are able to easily set to move the camera however they want. This is easily shown in the fight scenes where the camera flies alongside and follows the characters as they fight each other. Still though, the camera work is far from perfect. It can sometimes be a bit distracting and feel video game-like, and there's still the character models and movements of them not being good either. Overall, I just wish the film was in 2D, and I don't want to see another Dragon Ball film or series in CG again. The CGI may not be awful or even that bad, but it's still underwhelming and at best tolerable. Besides not being impressed by its CG, I was also very mixed on its plot and characters. When the film was first revealed to be a Gohan and Piccolo movie, I was excited. One complaint I have about Super is that most of the series is centered around only Goku and Vegeta. There are plenty of other characters that fans enjoy seeing, and thankfully we got to see some of them in the Tournament of Power. Dragon Ball doesn't always need Goku and Vegeta to be in the spotlight, and that's one thing I really like about this film. It's a nice change to see Goku and Vegeta do their own thing, take a seat back, and let Gohan and Piccolo be the main characters for once. That being said, while on paper this is a great concept, it's sadly ruined by the film reusing and recycling ideas and characters that have already been presented in the series. To start with, the Red Ribbon Army is back. For like the 4th fucking time. They came back in the Cell Saga, there was Super Android 13, there was Super 17 and GT, and now they're back again. Like really? They're bringing the Red Ribbon Army back again? Is Toriyama seriously that lazy and running out of ideas? In Super, we were introduced to like 10 other universes, so the possibilities of new characters and stories are pretty much endless. But no, instead we're reusing the same villain or organization for the 4th goddamn time. Literally the one running the organization now is Magenta, who's Commander Red's son. He also works with Dr. Hito, who also happens to be Dr. Jiro's grandson, which is just lazy writing. Really? We're just giving Commander Red a son and Dr. Jiro a grandson? You couldn't have come up with characters that weren't already attached to something pre-existing in the series? That being said, while I am very annoyed by the reusage of the Red Red Ribbon Army, I will say that I at least like the new characters introduced in the film. Magenta and both Gammas, while not amazing characters by any means, were welcome additions to the series. Out of all the new characters though, Dr. Hito is easily the best. He's some short, weird, and fat dude who's obsessed with superheroes because he thinks they're cool. Now that the Red Ribbon Army has given him the chance to create his superheroes, he decides to take it even though he knows they won't be used for good. He may have created both Gammas for the sake of helping the Red Ribbon Army, but he's not an evil person. He realizes that what he did was wrong and wants to use his knowledge for good. Also, the only reason he went to prison was because he was a dumbass, took 3 corpses, and had them work at a mini-mart, which is pretty funny. I guess that brings me to another positive aspect about the film, which is its comedy. Unsurprisingly, the film is filled with typical dumb and slapstick Dragon Ball humor. Whether it be Piccolo holding a cell phone like a jackass, Bulma using the Dragon Balls to make herself thicker, or Beerus being a pedophile, it's all great. Getting back to its characters though, there is one new or old one which I haven't mentioned yet, which is Cell Max.
What the hell is this?
Not only did this film bring back the Red Ribbon Army, but they brought Cell back, or in this case reused the idea of Cell again. So Cell Max was created by Dr. Hito when he's supposed to be this unstoppable and perfect being. However, by the time Piccolo and Gohan invaded the army's base, Cell Max still wasn't complete. When Magenta releases him from its pod, we see that Cell Max looks very similar to second form Cell, except this time he's red and green, has a spiked ball for his tail, is super big, and doesn't talk at all besides screaming. So he's nothing but a big brain-dead monster that's only here because the film needed another villain for its climax. What the actual fuck is this? This is so fucking stupid and not in a good way. First off, there was no reason to bring Cell back. What? Just because this is a Gohan movie means we have to bring Cell back? Is that really your reasoning? Didn't Magenta and the other members not see how Cell was going to destroy the entire planet back in the Cell Saga? Why the hell would they want to bring him back? I guess Dr. Hito could have programmed Cell to only kill Goku and everyone else, but still, that doesn't justify bringing him back. Although I don't think I could even say they brought Cell back because this clearly isn't Cell. Cell Max lacks everything that made Cell fun and loved by so many fans. Cell was not only powerful but smart and cocky too. He was a great antagonist but also a great character. What's the point of reusing the idea of Cell if you remove everything that made him so good? All we're left with is just another Bio Broly situation. Yeah, I can't believe I'm going there, but this is literally just Bio Broly again. They brought back a beloved character, yet stripped him of everything that fans loved and turned him into a brainless monster. Yes, you can't argue that there's a reason why Cell isn't the same Cell as before. He wasn't finished yet, which could be the reason for why he looks similar to his second form and why he also doesn't talk either. That being said, just because there is a reason for this doesn't excuse the fact that this design, name, and the idea of bringing him back again is really stupid. Toriyama decided to make Cell this way in the film. He could have written it in a different way to make Cell have the, or at least some of the traits he had before. Also, we could have designed him so that he didn't look like something that was pulled off of DeviantArt. It's not just Cell Max design that sucks, there are others that are laughably bad too. There's Piccolo, who gets two new forms in the film. The first of which is his potential unlocked form, which he got from Shenron. Yeah, so Piccolo just up and asked Shenron to give him a new form because I guess Shenron just has the power to buff Piccolo now. So because of that, this form is completely undeserved. Piccolo didn't do anything to earn this. He just asked for and received it like it was nothing. You're telling me everyone can just go to Shenron now and ask for a new form? Why didn't Piccolo do this right before the Tournament of Power then? I guess it's because he didn't think of it, but still, it's really stupid. Thankfully, potential unlocked Piccolo's design isn't offensive or even bad. His lines on his arms and legs go away and his skin is slightly lighter. I don't understand why his lines disappear, but I'm fine with it. It's a slightly altered version of his original design and I'm completely okay with it. but it's a decent design. Hell, it's certainly a lot better than Super Saiyan Blue, aka Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan, which sounds retarded. Super Saiyan Blue sucks and doesn't make any sense. If you're already Super Saiyan God, then how the fuck do you go Super Saiyan again after you're already Super Saiyan? Anyway, besides potential unlock, there's also... Yeah, so this is Orange Piccolo, and it looks like shit. Piccolo turns orange, his eyes glow red, he grows bigger, and it looks really silly and stupid. I really don't understand how something as big as Dragon Ball can manage to make character designs this shitty. I've been complaining about new forms and transformations for a while, but this film just really went overboard with how pointless and stupid they've become. Super Saiyan God was fine. It was first introduced in Battle of Gods, which was made 17 years after Z's anime ended, so getting a new form was fresh and cool. After that though was Blue, and like I just said, it both looks lame and doesn't make any sense. They gave Frieza a new form in Resurrection F, which on paper I'm fine with, but in execution it's really dumb. Golden Frieza? Like really? It's just final form Frieza but golden purple. Were they too lazy to design a new 5th, or I guess 6th form if you count 100% Frieza? They're just taking the same designs, going into Photoshop and applying a new coat of paint over them and calling them a new name. And don't even get me started with Super Saiyan Blue Evolution. It's literally the same thing, but Vegeta's pupils are different. There's also Ultra Instinct, which I actually do like since its design is cool looking and is also unique compared to every other form in the series. Ultra Instinct allows Goku's body to react for him, which obviously is something none of the other forms do. Because of this, it makes Goku a lot more difficult to hit in battle. Now, is it really that unique of a form? Not really, but at least there's something that makes it stand out from the other forms, which is all I'm asking for. They can add all the dumb new forms they want, but just make them look cool, good, and also give them something unique about them. You can't just change the hair color and call it a day. In Z, there was Super Saiyan 3rd grade, which was so strong it was basically unusable since the user was too slow to hit anyone while in it. There's also Super Saiyan 3, which while super powerful, also drains Goku's energy much faster than any other form. Again, are these super deep and distinct forms? No, but at least there's something that makes them different, even if it's not much. With Orange Piccolo, what's different besides him looking stupid? He's stronger, and that's about it. I know I'm repeating myself, but this just looks like crappy fan art you'd find online. And you know what else looks like crappy fan art? Yeah, so after all the shit posting and memes made 5 years ago, it finally fucking happened. Gohan Blanco is now officially canon, and it's laughably bad. It's Gohan, but he has big spiky silver hair, and to top it off, his eyes are red too, because why not? Now, how did he attain this form? Well, he saw Piccolo getting the shit beat out of him by Cell, thought he was dead, and then gets so mad that he transforms into what's called Beast Gohan. Yeah, so this brings me back to my complaint about the film just reusing elements and ideas from the main series as well as nostalgia mining. Let's have Gohan finally unleash his full potential because he still has all this power lying inside him even though he doesn't do much training. First, his potential was unleashed on Namek by Guru, then turning Super Saiyan 2 in Cell, then by Supreme Kai in Buu, and then again upgrading it in Super. How much fucking energy does Gohan have locked away, and why does he achieve all of this power by doing basically nothing? Like everyone else, I love his transformation scene in the Cell fight, but this just feels like a complete rehash and copy of it, but in a much worse way. Like really, we needed Gohan to fight Cell again and transform nearly identically to how he did in the original series? Stuff like this just really irritates me, and there's also other small things to nitpick about too. Like, come on, was it really necessary to have Gohan wear Piccolo's outfit again? Was it really necessary to reuse the same fat form of failed fusion for like the 4th time again? I'm not angry over small details like this, but I know they're just here so fans can scream in their seats because it reminds them of the original series again. Now, I have been complaining a lot about Cell Max, Orange Piccolo, and Beast Gohan, all of which appear around the final fight. However, despite all of these issues, they don't make the final fight horrible, and there are things to like during it. As mentioned, the final fight against Cell Max is easily the the best looking part of the film. The special effects are pretty good and the action is better than everything else beforehand. I enjoyed seeing multiple characters go against Cell Max at once, which is something we rarely get to see in the series. It sort of reminded me a bit of the fight against Hirudegar in Wrath of the Dragon. There's also the fact that Gamma 2 died, which definitely raised the stakes in the film. I wouldn't be surprised if they wish him back to life when Super returns, but still, for this film, I'd like that at least someone that isn't a villain died. Finally, there's Gohan using Special Beam Cannon for the first time, which I'll admit was really fucking cool. It's great to see Gohan take more inspiration from Piccolo and even go as far as learning one of his signature moves. I'm surprised the film didn't just copy the end of Cell where Gohan finishes him with a Kamehameha, but I'm not complaining. I've pretty much said everything I have to say about the film now though. There's some other minor annoyances, such as Boo being asleep for the third time in the series, so yet again we don't get to see him fight. I guess the only other thing I didn't cover was its soundtrack, which unsurprisingly I didn't have an issue with. It was good and the dub was just as great as always. Hell, they even got Charles Martinet, aka the voice of Mario, to voice Magenta, which is awesome. But besides that, my stance on the film is still the same. Dragon Ball Super Superhero, yeah, the title is dumb too, is a big mixed bag. This could have been a great Gohan and Piccolo film, yet it was ruined due to numerous reasons. The plot reuses ideas, elements, and characters from the mainline series, the new transformations look laughably bad and stupid, and its CG is overall underwhelming. Do I hate this film? No, but I still don't like it. I like and really like certain aspects about it, but there's just too many or too major issues I have with it. So yeah, Dragon Ball Super Superhero is a mixed bag, which is why I'm giving it a 5.76 out of 10. If you disagree with me and think I'm wrong, then I'd be more than happy to discuss it with you in the comment section. Also, if you do like this film, then good for you. I'm glad you can enjoy something that I couldn't. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video. If you liked it, then you can leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, or even support me on Patreon. Anyway, peace out gamers, I'll see you in Fortnite.